Today, we're going to go over 3 things that you have complete control over to be able to find your purpose. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris. Over the past 16 years, I have drank and drugged myself almost every day, so that way I have to avoid thinking about anything that has to do with life. But over the past year, I have cut all that stuff out, and now I'm able to think about things like my purpose without feeling so overwhelmed that I have to numb myself. That's why today I'm going to show you the 3 things that can help you take control of your purpose instead of being controlled by them. So the first thing you're going to absolutely hate, and that is accountability. Where you are in life is an accumulation of all the decisions that you have decided to make. No matter if you had no control over them or you had complete control over them, you are now deciding to be controlled by those things. For example, I looked up one day and I was in the middle of a bachelor's degree that I hated, and I blamed my parents, I blamed my circumstances, and I blamed my culture. But we know that we all have friends and family that decided to go against the normal. Even though they were given or not even given an option to go to college, but they had to, they said screw that and they went and did their own thing. I was too scared to go against my father and my mother. So understanding that you are where you are because of all the decisions that you have made will actually begin to give you control because you can make the decisions going forward. So in that accountability, now it is, what are you going to do? Now you get to make the choices of the next steps to take. The second thing that you have complete control over is your priorities. Take a second to look at yourself and think about what you are putting at the front of your focus every day. For a long time, I always put monetary things at the top. I want to make a shit ton of money. I want to be able to drive cool cars in front of my friends and family and show off. If you're putting monetary things at the top of your list, it is almost going to be impossible to find your purpose. And even if you do happen to be financially successful at some point, you're going to feel empty. Hands down. Something that I began to shift my priority to was something greater. For a long time, I was a godless heathen. Eventually, I learned that I could have my own conception of God. Having that freedom began to give me a view of something greater that I could focus on. After all of my priorities went away from being monetary things, all of a sudden, my actions became so much more selfless. I began to think about my family and my friends and where they would be in the future and how I could affect them. So it became so much easier to find my purpose once I stopped making it all about me. And the third thing that you have complete control over is the action you take. Once you know you are where you are because of all your decisions, and you stop being a selfish piece of shit and making everything about you and monetary things, now the actions you begin to take all of a sudden become very clear. So I knew I had to start learning new things and adding new skills. A huge mistake that I made, I suggest you don't do, is thinking that knowledge is power. I began consuming so much YouTube and so many books, but I wouldn't do anything with the knowledge I was getting. I had this screwed up complex in my head. I was like, man, I'm learning all this new stuff. This is so awesome, but I didn't actually apply it, so it was useless. So a huge lesson I learned in the action department is knowledge is not power. Action is power. And as you begin to take that action to stop thinking so much, you have to start reframing the work that you're putting in. Alex Hormozy mentioned this in a video with a podcaster named Chris Williamson. If you begin to think, every step that I'm taking in this direction, no one else is willing to do, instead of, shit, this is so hard, you start to gain confidence from the actions that you are taking. Finally, on the action, just remember when you start, you're going to suck. Expect it to be hard and expect that you're going to suck. If you focus on consistent, imperfect action, you will inevitably come out on top. Because you start taking little steps towards action, thinking about, man, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. If you understand what compounding is, consistent imperfect action will begin to take this slope that is slowly curving and then shoot off into the freaking stars, man. So when you change your mindset to nobody else is willing to do this and I need to stop worrying about the outcome so much and just enjoy the process, being able to sustain that imperfect action for longer periods of time becomes way easier. So when you're able to take accountability for where you are in life because of all the actions that you have made, begin to look for something greater than yourself and monetary things and act selfishly, and start taking action nonstop, persistently, like a madman, you will find that your purpose will naturally come to you. No, it's not going to come to you right away, but you're going to look up one day and realize, man, I've been doing this for a long time and it feels good to be doing it for everybody else. If you like this video, there's no other videos to click on because I just started this channel, but hey, if you join on the next video, you can click on this video. Thanks.